today's vlog is going to be about submitting stuff and publishing, because a good friend of mine, commented on my blog, link in the sidebar, about a post that I did, because I actually haven't told you guys this yet, but I got a couple of pictures published in the Manzanita Journal. I also do photography. I do a lot of things. I'm all over the place. And so she asked me to do a vlog about publishing. And so here I am driving, and I'm gonna talk to you guys about publishing. I don't know a whole lot about it yet, because I haven't had too much experience with it, but I do have some experience. And it's a really fickle field. I mean, every author tells you that it's hard, and no one's gonna publish you, and everyone is, you're gonna get a lot of rejection and stuff. And when I first started, I was like, yeah, that's probably true, but I'm pretty confident in my writing, so I don't think it's gonna be that bad. I'm stupid, obviously. As you guys have known through all my vlogs, I've gotten rejected from everywhere so far, except for these photographs, which is to be expected, because the places that I've started submitting were the very top, like the Atlantic Monthly and Epoch and Asimov's and these other places that I've submitted to. It's like, these aren't small publishing journals. These are really big, well-circulated journals, and I am an unknown author, and they're not going to want to publish my stuff yet, because I have no experience or reason why they should publish me. So anyway, the big things that I've learned so far about going through all this is, one, you need to make sure you've read over your work a million times. I mean, I don't know they haven't given me any comments back on the stuff that I published, but if you have the littlest grammatical problems with your story, they're not going to waste their time with it, because again, this isn't a publishing house publishing a book. I'm talking about short story publishing right now, where you'll have an editor, and your editors, they want to publish your book and everything. Like, you need to make sure that it's a good draft. It's not that, it's not that many words. It's only, depending upon your stories, it's 1,000 to 5,000 words. You should be able to read over that and make sure that there are no grammar errors. You need to prove to these people, especially since we're all unpublished authors, you need to prove to them that you are a good enough author that they can just take your stuff and put it right in a book, because they do not have the time to edit your pieces. They won't deal with it. Another thing that I'm coming to terms with and learning is, you cannot think you are too good for certain journals. When I started, because I told you guys this place before, and I'll put the link in the sidebar again, but Trope is a great place to find journals. I mean, it's the best archive for literary journals / magazines that I've ever found. My Professor Graham Waugh, he told me about it. It's a great resource for any aspiring authors, or even professional authors who are still looking for places to publish their other work. But when I started, I wanted to make sure that I was going to get paid, because I want to make money writing. Not that I want to be, rich from writing, but I want to be able to sustain myself so I can do that professionally. And that is really presumptuous to think that you're going to make money writing, especially on your first publications. It's not going to happen. These photographs that I'm getting published, I'm not getting paid for them. I'm going to get 2 copies of the journal, and that's like my gratis, like that's my payment for getting published. And that's a good way to start, is finding journals that don't pay, but will give you like hard copies of the journal, of the work that your stuff is published in. Because again, you have no experience yet. Like, you have no, it's kind of like having references on a job application. Like, you have no references yet. So why would anybody pay you for doing something that you have no experience doing yet? So I think it's really good to start with journals that are, I think they usually refer to themselves as token or non-payment, which you won't get paid, but they'll give you copies of the journal for free for your payment. And that's a great way to start, because they're smaller printing houses, and they usually publish first-time authors. Like, that's usually one of their, I don't want to say taglines, but that's part of their description in submitting, is that they publish first-time authors or unpublished authors. I think that's a really great way to start as well. What else about publishing and submitting? Don't be afraid. Just do it. I think I have a couple of really good friends who are really talented authors, and the only thing that's holding them back is their fear of having other people read their work. You can't be afraid of that. You have to just submit it and let people read it and get rejected. It's never gonna, I thought the rejection was gonna get easier. It'll never get easier getting rejected. But just do it, and to hell with it. I don't know what else to say. You have to just go out there Put your stuff out and let people read it and let people hate it and let people love it, because eventually you'll find somebody that'll read your story and be like, you know what? This is really good. I want other people to read this. I'm gonna put this in our book. And it'll happen. I know it's gonna happen with my work eventually. I just have to stick to it and keep submitting. That you can't get discouraged. I mean, you can be upset and disappointed that you didn't get published in one of the places you've submitted to, but don't let that stop you from submitting that piece to somewhere else. Because I don't know, I think that's the biggest thing. That's why a lot of people don't end up becoming published authors, I think. Not because their writing isn't good, but because they get discouraged and they just stop. They don't keep pursuing it and keep trying. I mean, the Olympics just happened, and I look at there's so many athletes who were there for the first time, even maybe the second time, and they didn't even they got like 12th place. And they still go because they're working up to do better. Like, you have to start at the very bottom. We are at the very bottom of the pile of publishing, and we aren't going to jump to the top quickly. It is a long and arduous task to climb up the mountain of publishing. It's going to take a lot of work and a lot of time, and you have to just stick to it. There's no other way around it. You just keep being persistent and keep pursuing and keep submitting, and eventually someone will pick it up. What else is there? One thing that one of my professors told me, if you want bigger publishing houses to look at you or to notice you, is find smaller journals that have really bizarre names, because for some reason those names stick out. There was one I want to say, it was like Karate Monkeys or something like that. Like, there's a couple that I found that it's like, one was Diet Soap, that I was thinking of submitting to. Another one is called Moon Milk. But just like these different weird sounding journals, because those names will stand out when you start submitting to bigger journals. Publish at your schools. It is such a good place to submit to, and you have such a greater chance of getting published there because you are publishing against your peers or competing against your peers, and you're not competing against people who have been writing for 20, 30 years, who are in their 40s and trying to get published, whose work is probably better than yours because they just have more experience. They've been writing for longer. Definitely utilize college publications. It's a great resource that I really think is underappreciated, both being read and underappreciated, both. I'm not good with words today, but it's just underappreciated in the readers of it and the people who submit to it. Like, it's a great resource, and I'm really grateful that I'm gonna get published in it, and that I have that I can put down that I've gotten published in something, at least, even though it's a Sac State's Calavera Station. It's still great that I have that I can put on a resume-ish type thing. And eventually somebody will pick up your work and somebody will say, this is brilliant, I love this, we're publishing it, and it'll take off. But it takes time, lots of time, and it's frustrating, so frustrating. I get so angry that it's taking so long for me to get published. But I know if I stick with it, I know that it'll happen, because that's all that it is. With anything, I think with any type of artistic ventures, whether it be painting or sculpture or film, whatever, talent is obviously involved, but it's also time. And of course, don't be afraid to utilize the people that you know. If you know somebody, if you know a name, you know somebody that's an editor or works at a publishing company as just a copy editor, even, like, whatever, utilize that, because it's not that you're getting published because of them, it's that your work is going to get read by somebody that works there because of them, and they'll be able to see your work. And so just utilize your resources and don't give up. I tell you, if you give up on yourself, you will never regret it. I've considered it so many times to give up. I have a degree in English now, and I really put myself down for getting a degree in English, not getting a degree in math or science or the fields that I was good at in high school and actually went into when I started college. But I know if I hadn't have done this, I wouldn't be happy with myself. That I would look back and regret that I didn't follow what made me happy and what I enjoyed doing and what I felt best about doing and felt creative doing. You have to not give up on yourself and on your writing, because you'll regret it. It's the most important thing that you're doing if you're a writer and if you like writing. That's the most important thing you can do, is continue to write, continue to express yourself, and continue to stay with what you're doing. It's all there is. So with that, I'm done for today. I will see you guys tomorrow doing a reading. Peace out.